Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with this Thursday guest, the CEO of Hemlane. How you doing, Dana?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, hey, we're going to talk about pets. I actually have Sunny there and Happy there. They're both asleep, but so I won't wake them up. But let's talk about pets and accepting pets in your rentals. Just curious, what do you know the percentage of landlords that accept pets?
Well, so I don't know like total what percentage of landlords. I would say that Hemlane, we try to skew it as more accept pets. I would say about 30% come to us and say, I don't want pets. Or I don't want certain types of pets.
Sure.
And usually it's not with like a really logical reasoning from my perspective of like, okay, well, why is it that you accept this type of pet or not this one? If they have a really good reason for it, then that's a different story. But
Sure.
What I would say is that majority of Americans have pets these days.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you're saying no to pets, you're basically saying 50% of my applicant pool is not qualified for my property. So you have 10 applicants, or let's just say you have 6 applicants. Let's go to a little bit more of an extreme of 3 of those you just automatically throw away. You have 3, those 3, the chances of one of them being interested, they might be looking at other places. You know, you set yourself up for a much more difficult process in finding and selecting qualified tenants.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, we do try to encourage accepting pets. There's really cool things out there, like something called a FIDO score, where like it's a FICO score, right? But for pets, for dogs and stuff. And you can basically go and check this stuff out to essentially try to figure out how qualified is the pet. Are they up on all their shots? You know, or do they have good behavior, manners? Have they been trained? All of this stuff. So I feel like there's ways to mitigate risk now, more so than there was historically. And so that's why I'm a big fan of accepting pets. Like actually now, after having pets and children, I think my children are dirtier and more destructive to a property than pets. Absolutely. And so that's where I'm like, well, you have to accept kids, so you might as well accept the pets too. And of course, I know you're a big fan with Sunny and Happy, but would love to hear, Michael, your perspective.
Quick question. I've actually never heard of the FIDO score. Where can somebody go look that up or do so? Is it just go to Google or is there a site you recommend?
Yeah, there's it's petscreening.com. There's a site that actually does it, and they're building up these scores and these algorithms to basically figure out you know, hey, really how qualified are pets? And then over time, landlords can put more reviews in and it boosts up your score. Wow. And, you know, it's interesting because I think that is the future. Like we talk to tenants who have pets who say, you know, my pet is very comfortable here. They don't like change. So I'm going to stay and renew my lease. And like, that's great as a landlord. You want long-term tenants. And so there's certain things like that you can definitely do. And then obviously use objective criteria to qualify the pet and just say, here are my expectations. Even so much to say like, hey, brand new, not trained, like maybe that type of pet I don't, but as long as you have qualifications of exactly why, you can still open it up and get 100% of applicants versus less than 50%.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. What I would tell a new landlord who doesn't want pets, not only do you have that 50% that you talked about, but I'm here to tell you that probably more than half of the tenants that move in day one will have a pet in the next 2 to 3 years, right? There are moment in life where maybe pets don't make sense, but most people will get there. And all you're doing is you're having an uncomfortable conversation where they could be lying to you. They're hiding stuff from you, or they move them in and they don't, you're hurting communication.
Yeah.
And second, what I would strongly suggest is you accept 10 pets. You control the size. Like I have apartments. Some apartments are really small, 500 square feet, 1 pet allowed, right? If they're bigger, maybe 2, control the size, you know, less than 10 pounds, whatever. A house, you know, whatever. Always have to be a safe breed, right? There is a list of no-go breeds because of insurance. Yeah. But yeah, and again, they can be a moneymaker, right? You can have pet deposits. You can have, you know, you can charge, pet rent. You can, right? And I love the FIDO score. I'm going to go look that up. I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, it's part of life. And in landlord, you are in a people business. And I want to promote communication with my tenants. I don't want them to feel like they have to lie to me, hide things. It's just, it's not a good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And when you talk about hiding things or lying things about things, usually I see they just go and get an emotional support animal.
Yeah.
Document, and then you really can't deny them, but then you also can't charge for it or get the additional deposit to cover any damages you might see. So you're actually just setting yourself up for a worse situation. So I totally get the uncomfortableness of, hey, I don't want the place destroyed and higher turnover costs than having that conversation with tenants.
Mhm.
But there's other ways to deal with it by saying, here are the qualifications you need to put your pet in pet training then, or this or that, and like follow these things to make sure that your asset is it doesn't get damaged and you've protected yourself.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. I mean, over the thousands of tenants I've had now, I can only remember one time where a pet destroyed a property that was clear. It was dog scratches that I remember in one room that I don't know whether he was locked in there or she, actually, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl dog, but yeah, it's not as prevalent. There's a lot of things that we kind of talk ourselves into that don't happen in reality. I do remember one time, but 1 out of 1,000 is
Yeah.
not that many.
And what happened then? Were you able to get it from the security deposit or?
Oh yeah, security deposit.
Yeah.
I think in that instance, the security deposit paid for the whole thing. So it was a hassle, but wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah. It's a bigger deal if it's above the security deposit, because then it's like, oh gosh, now this requires going to court if we can't collect the money, or do we go to court, or do we just write it off?
Write off, move on.
That whole question of going through. Yeah, totally.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for this. If somebody wanted to play with the 30-day trial, where should we send them?
Yeah, go to Hemlane, HEMLANE.com. And you do have a PDF on it here in one rental at a time, as well as videos if you're in the paid course.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana.
Cool. Thanks, Michael.